I probably lost the last video I put up, so I don't know. All of this letter won't get on there. It's letters from Jack. I only have two left. He was an FBI agent, reporter. I met him at the Huntsville Times 1980 after I'd done a medical malpractice book, MD: A License to Kill. I'd been filled full of antifreeze April Fool Day of '80, illegally taken across the state line. I should have died, by the way. My children, I've never really known after '83 where they are, if they're alive. I pray, and I don't know. But I thought it was because of the book I wrote about mind control. Larry McDonald, congressman, doctor, head of, I believe he's a member of the John Birch Society, etc. Later, and I'm skipping what they did to me, the plane he was on from Juneau, Alaska to Seoul, South Korea was shot down by the Russians when it veered into Russian airspace. By the way, the weapon that's being used is mind control. It's invisible, and if they hadn't done some of the murders since way back before I started doing the book, they do them in patterns so that they can be proven. So you'll never know how many people died or mass murders happened. I was telling about, well, I don't want to get into that now. Anyway, I want to finish this, and then I'm going to stop because at least this part, I got a lot of videos up that have been, I understand, can't be viewed now. I've told nothing but the truth. So it's my identity. I found out that it wasn't just because of the book I wrote and the names in it, that my father's Edward VIII. He never married Wallace Simpson. Wallace married a double. She was an American spy. And my dad is married to Claudia Ruth O'Keefe. I just dropped something, excuse me. My aunt is Georgia O'Keefe, and my mom, Claudia Ruth O'Keefe. She was considered a commoner, but and so part of my family helped take my father out, knowing all this, money hungry and greed. My uncle George, that made out to be the good guy, had kidnapped me, take down his own brother, Edward VIII, who never married Wallace Simpson, married Claudia Ruth O'Keefe, my mom, a teacher. This is Roosevelt, who appointed Kennedy ambassador, Joe Kennedy. Guess who flies in to the embassy there and stays and speaks before British Parliament? That would be JFK and his older brother. Now, how did I was born in 39. This is when this was taken, 1939. And kidnapped in 41 at age 2 and brought to Moulton, Alabama, given the name of a twin, Peggy Ann Dempsey. I still have to use that name, Peggy Ann Dempsey Childers. I can't even use my own name. I ran in a political campaign to replace Larry McDonald when his plane was shot down. Now, I had written about him. They had tried to kill me, and it's a horror story. This is Larry Flint, who was shot in Lawrenceville in '78 when I was doing the book in Marietta. He was shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia. Now, you don't hear anything about the programming of the man who shot Mr. Flint and killed his attorney. In the movie, the parody where, by the way, he showed me this parody when I was out there twice in '83 during the campaign in October. I just met Mr. Flint, but I knew he'd been shot because of the programming the man to shoot him because of the patterns. So he flew me out there and did the endorsement and said I knew who was responsible for his shooting. Now I wanted to finish this. It's who I am and who my sons are, and the lies and history they've changed, and the illegal treaties that have been signed by Elizabeth, who very well knows about me. The whole family does. They know about the illegal takedown of my father, and that they are illegal monarchs and illegal treaties. They work for the United States. How's that? The United States kidnaps me, the real monarch. There was an addendum, legal. My father seen to it. The day I was born, it should have gone back to him. 99 year seal put on the crimes and takedown. Now, I want to finish this because it's the only two letters that Jack Hartsville, the reporter at the Huntsville Times, later in 83, 84, he worked for the New Mexican News, and that's close to Ghost Ranch where my Aunt Georgia O'Keefe, I was just finding out about my identity at that time. Jack saved my life. This letter was written to Salvador Vazanni, ex-FBI or retired. I guess he was retired. He was brought in 1980, and he and Jack helped save my life. They really did. Now then, he's written this letter and sent me a copy to Sal Vazanni. And I've tried to put as much as I could since it's the last two, and the rest of them have been stolen. I did put them up on YouTube 2.5 years ago, but I've been told that I don't know if they were on the list or not, but that there's a list of mine that you can't view. That's what you get for telling the truth, which Jack did. Now, this is the last part. And the Delucci, on reasons which he would not explain, he told me I shouldn't trust Susan Boda, a.k.a. Thompson, that she was passing on information about discussions with me regarding those days back in Huntsville. I want to say this real quick, and I don't know that I'll remember her name right at the moment. Susan Boda was University of Alabama there in Huntsville. She was a professor. Later, in about 2010, is when the shooting, and I can't remember the woman's name, but she was a professor there where Susan was, in Huntsville at the University of Alabama. And she goes in and starts shooting about 3 other and killed them, I believe, professors there. And it was, I even spoke with the attorney that represented her. And he said he had worked with me at the DA's office. His name was Miller. He was a nice man. But the problem with all this is all of these mind control murders where people are programmed to kill and their victims, they're prosecuted as being insane, et cetera, just like here at Virginia Tech, the 33 shootings that went there, all these mass shootings, and even 1 or 2, how do you prove it? They're invisible. They were done in patterns. So this goes back, and by the way, this woman was deemed insane. That's how it was prosecuted. And then they tried to convict her of shooting or killing her brother, I believe, in Boston, where, I can't remember now. There's something about, I guess you go back to that time in Huntsville. Her attorney was Miller, and he did speak with me. But anyway, it's just like James Holmes. All of these are deemed crazy, and you got to take their guns, etc., which is their program. They're innocent, just like the people that died. Anyway, this is about Susan. I didn't know this was in here, and I don't know if you can even see this, but I'm going to put it up here. It's only 2 that's left. The rest are stolen. I do recall you once said something about Susan's poor reputation out there. Gosh, when we first met, I didn't know this was on here. And Barrington, for whatever reason, does indeed seem to know a lot about northern Alabama and beyond the horizon, and casually mentioned somebody decided to let me live after my Huntsville experience, and I should forget it all. By the way, as far as I know, Jack Hartsville is related to Hank Hartsville, the astronaut, who was commander of a couple of shuttles. Odd, very odd, would you say? Now, one would have to wonder why after almost 3 decades, people still fidget about my asking questions regarding Huntsville. Makes me wonder if I haven't been living inside a bubble all these years. I was either educated or brainwashed, one or the other, and there are those still jerking my chain. Does sunlight exist anymore? Jonathan Weiner, W-I-N-E-R, had the right idea, but apparently it hasn't as yet applied in my efforts. Richard Clark, one-time National Security Chief under 2